Welcome back to your favorite podcast. We have host number one, RBF Kyle.
How we doing?
We have 100 Thieves, Sweezy, Too Easy.
What's going on, late entry family?
And it's your boy, Double Dose. Welcome back to another episode of Late Entry. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this weekend of football was just filled with excitement. Not going to sit here and lie to y'all like that. So what we are going to do is talk about a few key pieces of information that you either want to know or we want to tell you about from the weekend, and then we're going to have some fun. So I want to start off by talking about my boy Aaron Rodgers on the Sunday Night Football game. I think we're getting to a point where it's like I've told you guys this before. Like Aaron Rodgers growing up was like my favorite athlete, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, do we want him to go and sit down and call it a day? Because it's so sad to me that we have another primetime football game, and I'm watching this man just get absolutely destroyed. It's unfortunate. And there's another example of it today too. Jaxson gets hurt, and you see Russ have to come in, and it's like everyone's like, "Oh God!" Like here comes Russ. Like for both Russ and Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl winners, you would think that we would always have fond memories of them and the greatness that they had. And to sit here and to see both of them now at a spot where it's like, can either of y'all play anymore? It's just, it's sad. And it's you never want to go out like that. You want to go out high and on top. Not like, damn, dog, our last memories of you were just stinking it up. So that's kind of where I'm at with that right now. Watching Aaron Rodgers play tonight, it was ugly. It reminded me of like, I don't know how much beer pong you guys have played. I feel like I was a high level beer pong player, especially in college. But
Could win D1.
Motherfucker got his PhD
D1 for beer pong.
in beer
But
pong.
look, have y'all ever had a game before where it's like, I know I'm good. I know I'm a good player. I can't make the cup. I'll try shooting. I'll try switching sides on the table. I try shooting with my other hand, shoot from my knee, switch my shot
You're
up.
like,
Nothing.
if
I'm
only
doing
it weren't
is
for
working.
that third shoulder surgery, I'd
Right,
be able
bro.
to do this right now.
Like I just, no matter what I do to try to switch it up, I can't find success tonight. I can't hit the cups. That was like watching Aaron Rodgers tonight. It was, bro, the throws were high. They were out of bounds. He took a stupid safety that he would have never taken. I'm watching him like, oh, you thought that you were 10 years ago, Aaron Rodgers, who could run away from that. And instead you run back into the end zone, fumble the ball, and got a fall on it. Like, it's sad to see my boy like this. And it's making me think, not to go too far out, but we always talk about how much time does Bron have left. Please, God, LeBron James, retire before it gets to this. I do not want to see him out here blowing layups. Like, that will disappear so much.
Hey, even the GOAT Tom Brady had to go through a divorce in order to retire. Like,
Shit.
he had
his
to play a
last year
whole
was better
season
than
after
this.
being divorced, and his shoulder was very clearly not hanging on anymore, and he still played through that. You know, like, everybody does it. They play too long. They play till they can't, you know. There's a reason Joe Flacco is playing as a backup, as a Super Bowl winner. They just can't let it go, you know?
I mean, shit, Joe Flacco's lighting it up, though, at least. At least he's lighting it up.
Right now, yeah, sure. Right now, he wasn't with the Browns. He wasn't with the Colts last year. You know, he's had 2 straight seasons of not lighting it up. But since he's patented as a backup, it doesn't, like, the narrative isn't the same as it is with Aaron, MF, and Rodgers, you know? It's a whole different story. So, but yeah, I mean, I still want him to go to the Saints next year. That video will come out soon.
The only thing that I want to say is, like, Russ has basically completely ruined his legacy. Like,
Oh yeah, Russ is done.
like, I remember, like, one of his, I think his second to last year in Seattle, it was, hashtag let Russ cook. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, all right, like, you're a Super Bowl winner. You got the offense cracking. Like, Russ, just show up and be Russ, and we're going to be all right. And now it's like, please, God, do not let him come into the game.
But
Like,
every fantasy league I had, there was somebody who had the team name Let Russ Cook. And that was the person who managed Russ every time. Like, it did it without fail. Like,
And now we're at the
everybody was
point
just
where-
waiting on that motherfucker to get him 42 points.
And now we're at the point where people don't want to see him play at all. And I'm
Yeah,
like, this
as
is
they
now the
should.
Packers primetime game, and now this one where I mean, at least the Packers one looked a little bit better. Tonight was rough.
You know what
And
could
I'm
save
just,
him?
huh?
Las Vegas, baby.
Oh my God, stop!
Go be the starter for Gino again.
Oh my God. So I'm starting to wonder. Like, obviously, I can't tell him what to do with his career, but I'm getting sad of like the Aaron Rodgers I know and the Aaron Rodgers I'm seeing, and it's like, bro, it might be time to hang this up before you wind up in Russ territory where we don't want to see you on the field. Um, Either of you guys have any thoughts on this game before I hit y'all with a little debate question?
Not that game, but you said a couple players and just the whole topic in this in general.
Yeah.
Because we've seen this, not with just Aaron Rodgers. You saw with Peyton Manning his last year in Denver. He
Oh
had,
God,
the all-star
everybody's all of
defensive
them.
team, and you
Everybody.
could see, like, you could watch a clip just a year ago. Steve Payton, he was lighting it up, but you could see the touch, the velocity, it wasn't there, but his mind was still there. So you got to think people like Aaron Rodgers, LeBron James, even said Joe Flacco. I said this about, multiple, episodes as well too. These like supreme competitors. They've trained their whole life to play football. And we see with AB right now, like when these people don't have football,
Mm.
they kind of lose, that's like probably half of who you are is football. And, when you're at the end, Aaron Rodgers, arguably one of the greatest to ever do it. Not even just a quarterback, just, players in general. You never want to go out. You went to the Jets, you were, front page new, key to the city, you tear your Achilles, his expectation, not, just we as fans and just media people, but you got to think, what do you think the expectation he has on himself? He knows, he's very confident in there, amazing skill set. So you got to kind of deal with, your mental side. You've known your whole career. You've been at the pinnacle. And of course, everybody wants to go out on a high note. Jerome Bettis, his last year, he won the Super Bowl in his hometown. That was a perfect send off. We don't all get that Cinderella story. And then, of course, you got to think Aaron Rodgers' age, he tore his Achilles. At that age, you can't be doing your rollout, Hail Marys anymore. That's not part of your game in there. You got to have that full team around you, defense, running game. You got to have weapons. You saw Tom Brady those last couple of years in New England. He couldn't do it anymore. You couldn't say, let me get Tim, Catherine, Chad, come on out there, run some routes. He can't do that anymore. He had to have the Mike Evans, the Chris Godwins, get Gronk back in there. It's a full team sport, At a certain age, you can't put on the cape anymore. And I remember, LeBron James saying, like, in an interview, as he gets older, when he gets done, playing a game, he say feels like, his body or his legs, his feet feels like an '02 Cadillac. Like that's a lot of miles in there. Like you can't be asking these people in their 40s to, do their prime stuff. And LeBron, Miami LeBron that first year, he's out there jumping over people. But you got to think, these players, maybe in their head they still think they could do that, but the body, Mother Nature is undefeated. Everybody has a time and a place, an expiration date, and when that time comes, like I said, it might hit you out of nowhere. You seen Vontae Davis literally quit in the middle of a game because he said,
That was crazy.
I can't do it anymore. Andrew Luck, you guys probably had Andrew Luck in the fantasy right before the season starts, gone, and you're like, dang, nothing I can do about it. So like I said, there comes a time and a place, and the expiration date comes, and when it hits you fast.
You said
Shut
two
up,
things
Frank. Right now.
I want to touch on real quick. The first one you had mentioned the mind. That is the one thing, with the exception of the very uncharacteristic sack or the sack for the safety tonight. With the exception of that, that's the one thing I will say that Rodgers still has is you can see that mind is constantly cooking. I see him figure out more ways to not give up sacks or fumbles than you would expect anyone to do still. Even like when he played the Packers, I don't know if you guys remember, he had he was starting to get sacked and he threw the ball at the ground from like 2 feet up, incomplete. not a fumble, just a not intentional grounding, just an incomplete pass. Like his mind is still there, and that's why I think that maybe he wants to keep playing is because it's like I know that I'm still capable of processing this and making these right plays, and it's like you can see that veteran knowledge with him that you don't see from any other quarterback. The other
It
thing
reminds
too
you
that you brought up,
Stafford couldn't be in a better spot.
yes,
Stafford could
absolutely.
not be in a
Mhm.
better spot for the later half of his career. He's been put in a position where a coach knows what's going on, knows when his offensive line is hurt, and when he needs just make sure that he gets to that first read and that first read is a 90%, open. Sean McVay and him are such a good duo. They are underrated.
And that's the brings me to my second point off of Toph's point actually, and Stafford's another example of that. Tom Brady goes to Tampa, you get Gronk out, you got Godwin, you got Mike Evans. Why it drives me crazy what the Steelers did getting Aaron Rodgers this season. You got 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers out there and got one dog with him. You got just DK Metcalf. You had George Pickens. You had him. And you traded him. Why did you trade him, dog? You got him throwing to Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. You got, some decent tight ends. Okay, cool. You went and got Jonnu Smith. What a difference he's made this freaking season. You got him and
He was
Pat
in my
Mahomes
top
out there.
10.
Right, yeah.
Got me looking
but,
bad.
bruh, been nothing so far. And it's like, all right,
It's making my 10th pick is Darren Waller looking a whole lot better.
We're not even going to bring that up. I was going to save you from that take.
But you got what, Jalen Warren out there. He cool and all, but it's like, y'all
Do you
didn't go
think-
and get any weapons for him?
Do you think if they had a consistent running game, it would be a lot of a different story? Not putting so much pressure on him.
Something, bro. He's got
Because like Warren's
out
cool, but he's not a Gibbs. You got your JT.
Yes.
You got the difference make. We always say your favorite word, force multiplier. Yeah, if he would have had one of them dogs in the backfield, I think it'd be a lot different story. But when you don't got that, you're asking him to do a lot. Defense been struggling at his age, his injuries. He can't do it anymore. It's like I said, you've seen this is the last game. They're like, oh, they're all saying they were like, oh, we're picking the Colts because they didn't think that offense could match with the Colts. Steelers had an amazing game plan. They said, all right, we're going to take JT out. Now you got Daniel Jones, and we've already known about Daniel Jones. When you got to put that cape on, ain't no cape there. It's like the same thing in Aaron Rodgers. Whatever your game plan is, you got to execute that to perfection. Because if something's off, and you leave that just to him, with the weapons they have, and just like their offensive scheme in general, you can't match it.
Hey, I will push back on that one point though. Daniel Jones' legacy drive today. He delivered. He delivered. he got the.
He's living now. In his totality, he ain't been living, but right now, he's starting to change the page where say, hey, put a little bit of respect on my name now.
I feel like I've been all season waiting to see, like, all right, Daniel Jones, are you for real, or are you going to turn back into a pumpkin at midnight? And last week it was rough, but this week he had to get them down there for that field goal. He got it down there. He had that huge run with his legs, and then overtime, dropped the ball down there. Let JT finish.
Yeah, you breaking up, bro.
But let's not get off onto that
up.
tangent just yet. You brought this up though, Toph. I forgot about this. Y'all want to talk about AB?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's talk about AB. So
a strong arm, a little topic in here now.
AB, I forgot which country it is. He just got extradited from.
Was he in Dubai?
It might have been.
I think he was in Dubai. I'll double check that real quick, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so he was involved in like a shooting a while back, and it was like hadn't heard anything about that, and then just got extradited back to the U.S. to face attempted murder charges. I believe that's what it is.
Yep, arrested in Dubai, an attempted murder charge.
But it's like, dog, like the fall off of AB has been insane. For what was at one point one of the greatest receivers like that we have seen, he was ascending up to really taking like being up with the greats. To now, this is where you're at, bro. What a fall from grace. Y'all got anything you want to add on to that? I just think it's crazy and it's sad.
Yeah, well, first, let me just take the whole football side out of it. Just talk about AB. As a person. Um, he's down from the crib down in Florida, as the Jits like to kind of call it. Um, like a lot of people, I've been watching, multiple podcast interviews, people just talking about just AB the human, not the football player, just Antonio Brown. I'm gonna call him AB. I'm gonna call him Antonio Brown for this segment right here. I just think that he's always been, a really good person in general, hard worker. People like really close to him, it impacts him a lot. Because like I said, they've seen this guy, come from Florida down the South, from nothing. And to get where he was at, you got to give that man his credit for that. But then we got to say on the football side, which we've probably all heard this, probably ad nauseum, is Devontae's perfect hit. Ever since that day, just when all these things started to happen in there. CTE is nothing to play with. It affects people, differently. It's not like, you wake up the next day and you start going crazy. It's just like a downward spiral. And I'm no expert. I can't give the whole CTE thing. But we say, the Junior Seau, rest in peace. It changes you, drastically. Your decision making. I think a lot of things, just like the people that AB was like keeps around him. People call it like the yes men. If you got one of the real ones, like if I was out here acting crazy, came on the pod drunk, as funny and good take as I'd be, I don't want y'all to be like, hey, let's pause this real quick and say, what are you doing right now? Like I said, you gotta surround yourself with those people that actually has the best interest, for you yourself in there. But just like AB, his legacy, we talked about, Russell Wilson loses his legacy. I mean, I never had AB in fantasy, but the amount of catches, yards, touchdowns, I was like, he was probably the number one pick. I mean, he was easily going to be a Hall of Famer, probably a first ballot. And, you talk about TL being like a team obliterator. TL never did this part. This is a whole nother level. It's sad because he does have kids as well, too. So just from the, standpoint from them, having your dad go through all that, I got a feel for his kids and his family, man. It's just really sad to see just the downward spiral of Antonio Brown's career, man.
Do you have anything, Kyle? I wanted to say something before we finish, but
yeah, I mean, what a talent he was, obviously. Yeah, like you said, it was that Vontae's perfect hit. Yeah, he's never been the same since. But yeah, one of the greatest. He'll always go down as one of the greatest. I mean, he was getting taken in drafts that I was in when he was with the Raiders, when he wasn't even showing up to training camp. He was getting taken in the 3rd round. Like, if that doesn't tell you the impact, I'm talking fantasy here, obviously, but like, if that doesn't tell you the impact of like what a person does to the psyche of a fan, like how good he was, that he was on the Raiders, hadn't shown up because of some stupid helmet shit, and people were still taking him over like a wide receiver 2 or a fucking RB1, like, is insane. This guy, when he's on the field, he was as dominant as they come. But yeah, the downfall after his career and through the end of his career, I hope he gets the help he needs to get his mind right. But it sounds like he's very far gone.
yeah, that was what you just said was the last thing I wanted to say on it is like it. He's made himself a very unsympathetic character, and basically all of the things that have happened recently. I mean, you've had all of the off the field issues that are numerous. You had the on the field stuff. You had the way that he behaved in New England, the shots he took at Robert Kraft. Um, Brady let him stay with him in Tampa. He repaid that by acting an ass in Tampa, leaving midway through a game, making comments about Giselle. Um, I mean, all of the social media stuff that he's been doing, like he's turned himself into a very unsympathetic character. But, I mean, we talked about this with Marshawn Nealand the other day. We talked about, if you're in a bad situation, like reach out to somebody and get some help. And I don't want that to only be in situations like with Marshawn's, like if the Antonio Brown situation, like obviously he might have to go sit down for a little bit if you got murder charges or attempted murder charges. But I truly hope, like you said, for like the person Antonio Brown, like I know he's probably not ever gonna see this, but I truly hope, like, please go find someone, get some help, try to get your life back on track. Like I don't believe that most people are out of the shot of ever having redemption. Redemption can look at like in different ways, you know what I mean? But I genuinely hope that he goes and gets some serious help to overcome the demons that he's dealing with right now. Because it's, I mean, yeah, just from a talent perspective, that's insane of a fall. But yeah, once again, he is a real human being too. So just hope that things look up for him. All right, y'all want to talk about some Lions?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, all the afternoon games were blowouts. All of them. What's crazy is that two of them had the exact same score. The who was it? The Rams? Did they play at 3?
Yeah, they played in the second.
Yeah. So the
second
Rams
block.
game and the Lions game, at one point they both were 44-22 at
Holy
the exact
shit,
same
yeah.
time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then the Niners game, that was like, or no, did the Rams play the Niners?
Yeah, Rams played the Niners.
Oh, so it wasn't them. Who else played at noon? Or at
You
night?
might Seahawks
Afternoon.
Cardinals.
Yeah, Seahawks Cardinals. So Seahawks Cardinals and Lions Commanders. They were both 44-22. Rams Niners was like 42-26. All 3 games had like almost the exact same score. It was weird.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, all blowouts. Before we get into the game, I want to come out here and all due disrespect to Kevin Durant. And I told you I was going to do this. I told you, I texted you guys, I think it was yesterday. I said
Shout out Easy
Kevin
Money
Durant.
Sniper.
Easy Money Sniper is out here partnered up with FanDuel trying to take y'all money. Do not ever take betting advice from Kevin Durant. He posted his FanDuel parlay, and he's going to put in the caption, I know it's been a rough season, but I'm rocking with my Commanders. You were paid by FanDuel to steal these people's money, Kevin Durant. Ain't no way in hell the Commanders were going to beat the Lions today. The Commanders with Jaden Daniels have not been great, let alone with Marcus Mariota against the Lions. I was
How
confident.
crazy is it? Like, as a whole, how crazy is it that he could go and do that and then be like, all right, I'm going to bet plus 5.5 Knicks versus Pacers. And then the league would be like, whoa. Like, he could take money from FanDuel, but then he can't make a bet on a game he's not involved in. Anyways,
I wanted to talk about that for a while, about the fact that it's crazy that, none of the players can bet, but they're all being sponsored through all these betting apps.
Right.
You got
They're being
LeBron in these
propped
commercials for DraftKings. It's wild. But yeah, Kevin Durant, you clearly got paid by FanDuel to take these people's money. And if you listen to him, you a damn fool, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. I was confident. I put down more money than I typically do when I bet on Lions Lions to win by 7 points. They did. Got my little check because I don't listen to Kevin Durant because I'm not an idiot. But what we all knew was coming, and the Lions put belt to ass. And Kyle, talk about our team, dog.
All right, here we go.
I know that you're not about to put on a show for. I understand. I see what's happening here.
All right, OCDC is here to stay. OCDC is here to stay. Dan Campbell put some glasses on. He got more involved with the offense. And in turn, the Lions won a motherfucking game. This didn't surprise me. I know it was a weak opponent. And I know that we're a weaker team than we were in 2024. And I know that we have more losses than we did in 2024. But losses are lessons, all right? And this team has taken a whole lot of lessons, Dan Campbell included, all right? And I really think that we are going to be that team that come January, you better look the fuck out. We might lose 3 more games, but we're going to squeak into the playoffs.
At
and
least
we're
he's
gonna beat
honest.
the fuck out of you. And that's on period.
Toph, you or me?
I'll go last.
Okay. Yes. Dan Campbell's calling plays now. I think a lot of people are excited about that. I know you said he got more involved with it. It did come out after the game. He is officially the offensive play caller. So he's taking that role over from Johnny Morton. Johnny's just like an assistant now. Dan Campbell is the offensive play caller, which is probably a good decision. We're going to find out
Yeah.
if that makes a difference. We'll see. I think you're talking with way too much bass in your voice about how we can beat the shit out of anybody. I mean, yeah,
Look at my
the
head
Commanders,
coach.
your head coach that allowed us to come out of a bye and get smacked by a player playing his third
Yeah.
game as quarterback.
I'm just talking about the aura that surrounds him. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, those big balls did nothing to shield us from getting our asses beat last Sunday, but
Yeah, we're still 6-3. Carry on.
okay. So let's talk about this real quick because you were talking big shit off air about the Bears and about how the Bears. You were talking big shit about the Bears and how the Bears. You don't believe that they're what their record says that they are, and that they keep having these bullshit wins. And I
It's
guess
not
all I'm
exactly
saying
what I
is,
said at all, but sure, yeah, go ahead.
would you like to clarify it?
I would like to say that I'm surprised by the Bears record and that they somehow seem to get that win at the last second when you least expect it. Like, and some shit just goes right and goes their way. It's the same thing it was for the Vikings in 2024. Everything that just seemed to go their way. It's what's going on with the Bears. That's what it
Okay.
is. I mean, I don't think they're You wanted to try to out me and try to say the Bears were bad and that their schedule was padded. Like I backtracked right on that as soon as I started talking about it because I know we haven't beaten anybody of stature either. I'm
that
very
was
well ready to admit that. But I think that there's nobody to beat in this league this year. Everybody's bad this year. There's no complete team. So like to be 6-3 in this league is just to be 6-3. And I think that the Lions are using all of these losses that they're getting and they're gonna bounce back so much harder than the Bears or the Panthers or like all those younger teams, like those newer cultures. I think these like the Packers, the Lions, the Eagles, like those are teams that come down the stretch. The Rams, those are teams in the NFC that you're gonna have to worry about.
That's the most sensible thing I think I've ever heard you say regarding the Lions. I'm with you. I have no pushback on any of that. Toph, take off.
Yeah, I just want to say, every Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whenever you're playing your game, at the end of the day, you just got to get the win. It ain't always going to be pretty. It ain't always going to put up 60 points. Got linemen catching touchdown. Everybody's having a good time. Like I said, no matter who you're playing, you just got to beat them. A win's a win at the end of the day. At least for me, when I watch the Lions, I think you got to get the two running backs. You got to get them involved. Because I think at any time that boy Jameer Gibbs, he will go nuclear. And when he gets his 3 touchdowns, it's a wrap. You just chalk that up. They're gonna find a way to win that game. JMO, I'm just saying he's the X factor, on that team. He was the dog at Ohio State. He couldn't get on the field, but he had the talent. You go to Ohio State as a receiver, you one of them boys. He had to go to Alabama. He balled out there. The man's crazy. He may not always be all there. Like I said, a couple of podcasts, them guys, you got to let him rock out. He might have a crazy celebration. He might end himself getting a fine, but you can't deny that man's talent. He's tall. He can, basically outrun anybody. And I think, the Lions, do their identity. Sometimes, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Dan Campbell, Johnny Morton. They kind of get in their own way. they start doing too much. The line strength is, playing physical, controlling the time of possession. If you got Demo and Gibbs, some of the two best running backs in all of football, you get them the ball. Let them wear the defense down, and now you can let Laporta, St. Brown, and JMO, take it over. It shouldn't be that difficult, for this team in there. I get it. Sometimes, a team will say our game plan is to take out, maybe, the running backs in there. Okay, you still got a lot more talent than most teams offensively. This team, I don't want to say they don't got a weakness, but, we've seen them, just make it look easy. They just have too much talent to just, look stagnant, not look like we've seen them do. I know you got new OCs, but, other than a couple linemen you lost, you still pretty much have the main core is still there. And when you give Goff his time, not making them have to do too much, not being off script, he can deliver the ball to where it's got to go in there. Like I said, they just got to play together as a full team. And for the Commanders, they did better than I thought, without Jaden Daniels. Mariota, he's been playing a lot better than I would have expected. You've seen Mariota, here and there. On the Falcons, oh boy, that was rough to watch. But I got to say, hey, Mariota, you're doing your thing out there, man. But yeah, the Commanders, man.
13 more points than MVP candidate Baker Mayfield. So
let me ask you guys a question really quick, because I've been hearing this, as of late. I know he didn't play, but a lot of people have been saying that the league has called up to Jaden Daniels' play style. Do you guys think that, they figured out his style more, which kind of made, I know he's been injured here and there, but you guys kind of buy into that stock, or that people just kind of, calling how to play against Jaden Daniels?
So the thing with that is it's kind of a two-part answer, I should say. The first part, that is typically the case with every rookie sensation. CJ Stroud, Lamar Jackson, whoever it is, especially running quarterbacks. You hit the ground running, and it's like, boom, all right, you're lighting it up. No one's seen anything like you. Your rookie year, sensational. Then year two, you got a whole year's worth of tape, and they start figuring it out. That's when you either sink or swim based on if you, the quarterback, can then adapt to them adapting to you and keep winning, or you're going to sink. That's part number one. Part number two is the fact that there is absolutely no way we would know that right now because Jaden Daniels has been hurt almost the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
This is he's going to wind up having played half a fucking season at the end of this. There's absolutely no way that we would have any indication of if he is good or not good at this point. That's my answer. Kyle?
Okay.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell. Any quarterback, it can go through time. Like Michael Vick, right? Through his first 5 years, we were like, he's going to be one of the best to ever do it. And obviously, there were some off the field things that happened, but it didn't. He had a great second stint, but things don't fizzle out, the way you intend them to a lot of times. Yeah. I love Jaden Daniels, man. I want all the success for him. I want all of it. So I'm gonna sit here and say it's gonna happen for him, but you really never know. That's a big injury. That was a bad break. Joe Burrow did a whole lot early, right? And he's never done anything since. So it's so hard.
I don't know about done nothing. Team-wise, yes, you can see his success. The team hasn't been, but
yeah, he hasn't done anything in the postseason since. That's all. I should have added in the postseason since that Super Bowl.
I wouldn't say that.
That's not his fault, but it's what happened. There's so much to do with circumstance and coaching and everything in between, man. It wasn't any slight against Joe Burrow. I wasn't trying to talk shit, but we're at that point now. He's missing a whole nother season. What do you expect from Joe Burrow going forward?
I think that would have been a better take than to say he hasn't done nothing. If you would just said,
sure.
For what you pay, and I think that's better take than just saying he ain't done nothing.
That's
kind of crazy a little bit.
To talk about tonight, so I'm very out of my pocket right here.
I saw Spencer's reaction real quick. I said, "Uh-oh."
I think I found a Canadian penny in the middle of that, but while I was pulling shit out of my pocket. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all take it back.
Toph, what do you think?
I think, which a lot of media, which again, I'm gonna bring the canon on them, is recency bias. Because it is very easy to take Jaden Daniels and RG3 and just basically just, kind of like, paint that narrative. They went to the same team, some of the most outstanding rookie seasons we've ever seen. A lot of success when, they didn't quite, expect that. And you got a black quarterback, you get injured the same way, and you don't kind of replicate that same, kind of success. But like I was saying telling you guys before, Jaden is coming out, I said this guy is immensely talented, but he's had a lot of injuries in just LSU alone. When I'm saying, I think, which made it been kind of crazy for me, not picking back up in fantasy. One thing I said is like, I don't know how long he's going to last because he's been so injury prone. He's super thin. We're kind of seeing that now. But just in terms of just pure talent, like I said, it's his second year. Everybody has a sophomore slump. Some quarterbacks take, a certain coach to kind of, hit that next level in there. So I think for Jaden, definitely think it's too early. But just seeing what he did his rookie year, making reads, I mean, he took his team to the championship, which I don't think even Commanders fans would have told you they're going to get that far. So I definitely just think a lot of people just want to kind of paint the narrative for the recently biased and compare him to RG3. We're the two different people, so I don't take any stock in that part, saying that the league is caught up to him. I think, it's the nature of football. Everybody's going to, figure you out. You have a big game here and there. Nobody's playing perfect for 17 games straight.
I want to ask you real quick, while you
Mhm.
mentioned being thin and injury prone, and the way that you take damage, especially when you're running, what's your confidence level in a long, healthy career for Jaden Tagovailoa? I mean, Jaxson Dart.
I mean, I can wrap all these guys, and you can say Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, and Jaxson Dart. And it's funny, I know we kind of talked about this in pre-show, but Jaxson Dart literally said it in his interview with John Gruden. Have you ever seen like the Gruden kind of camps? He literally had a clip of Jaxson Dart just getting laid out in college. He said, "Why don't you ever slide?" He's like, "I think I could get 1 or 2 more yards." And Gruden looked at him dead in his eye and said, "You got to cut that out, man." He said, "You cannot take these hits in the NFL." And we're seeing it. I think some players you get caught up in the moment. And some people are just like supreme competitors. You could see, he's athletic. I'm not saying, he's Michael Vick out there, but you see a big part of Jaxson Dart's game for this team. We see in Josh Allen is he designed QB runs, and the supreme competitor that he has, he can't help himself because he gets caught up in the moment. And you think you might get away this play, but that next couple of plays, you may not. That same luck might not happen, and they gonna light you up next time, and it's happening to him. Like I said, you could do it, but you gotta learn how to slide. You cannot be taking these hits because it's I think the guy has superstar potential. I'm not saying that he's there, but you see him week in, week out. He'll make those couple of flash plays. You're like, I don't, not everybody can do what he does, especially with the players on this team. But I told you guys from the offseason, I said this guy's got it. I would not be surprised. Start him week 1 because you can kind of see the magic he has. Like I said, he's got to get down, man. And I hate it because I'm the biggest Jaxson Dart fanboy. And I see him just take off these runs. I said, he's going to get killed one of these times. And, it's happening. So, if you can't stop there early, it's a bad habit. You're not going to help yourself. So, for someone's got to click for me. Someone has to help him from himself.
I just want to kind of provide some examples of some of the things you mentioned, kind of encapsulate the Jaxson Dart experience. He didn't start for until week 3?
Yeah, because it's like after the after the Chiefs game they played. I think it was Thursday night or maybe Monday night, and the whole crowd was just booing it. They said, "You're done."
Okay,
So that's probably like around, I think, week 4 he started.
What week did we just finish? Or what week is to Monday?
Finish? Let's see. We are. Hold on.
It's 10.
I think we're on week 10 right now. So week 11, we're going into week 11.
And they've had their bye already, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have their bye already.
Okay. So Jaxson Dart's played 6 games so far? Okay. In 6 games.
Sounds about right.
JD
Jaxson Dart has
2,
been
3,
in
4, 5, 6.
check.
7 after tonight.
Yes. Okay.
6, 7.
Okay.
So in 7 games. Wait, no, because they had their bye, so it's 6, right?
Oh, they haven't had their bye yet. Wait,
They have.
where's their bye at in here? I don't know.
They have
ESPN's weird. Yeah, I think they did, but it doesn't like show it in here.
So in 6 games, Jaxson Dart has been checked for concussion mid-game once already. Today, 2
we're
rushing
doing
touchdown.
this. All right. Yep.
What?
No. Go ahead. Sorry. Start it over for the clip.
Ankle.
Okay.
Oh, we're doing
So-
this, huh?
Doing what? Doing
I'm
what
just
are we
kidding.
doing?
I'm just kidding. Fucking rage baiting you, and it's working.
So in 6 games, Jaxson Dart has been checked for concussion once mid-game already. Today had 2 rushing touchdowns and had to exit the game with an actual concussion. That's 2 in 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad.
Now at the same time, I texted y'all today while watching that game. Jaxson Dart made this play. He was rolling, whipped that ball toward the end zone. Receiver wound up dropping it. But I saw that throw and I was like, "Oh my god!"
That sounds
I was
about
like,
right.
"Yo, that's him." That you add on 2 rushing touchdowns. I was like, "Yo, this, bro, what? No Malik Neighbors, no Cam Scatterboo, and this is what you're doing." And then here comes the concussion, and it's like that right there is the Jaxson Dart experience. The highest
I ain't
highs
gonna lie.
followed
If
by
that guy could have been
concussion
fully
protocol.
healthy, he probably still would have failed the protocol. IQ wise, they started asking him some common sense questions, and he's like, "I mean, like Madison beer, bro."
All right. On to just touch this real quick. Pause.
Whoa, whoa! What are you gonna? Whoa, dude!
All right. So the Bills, dog. I just want to know, and just keep it brief so we can hit some other topics. But I want to know you guys' confidence levels in them because over the course of the season, every time they've had a hiccup, I've been over here, #1 fan of, look, they're going to be all right. I trust them. Bro, they have now lost to the Falcons and the Dolphins. What the hell is going on in Buffalo? And they didn't just lose to the Dolphins today. They got
It was bad.
to ass. Nothing was
Josh
working for
Allen,
them.
historically versus the Dolphins, is ass. So I mean, that one doesn't. The Falcons bothers me more than getting our asses beat by the Dolphins. But yeah, I don't know. This is some weird shit. This is like the whole NFL feels like some kind of like fever dream right now.
But I guess and I don't want to reopen this can of worms. That's where I was at when you were talking about your confidence in the Lions. I understand that the way it's going, especially how our roster is, yes, we can beat any team. But I don't know how any fan base, except maybe the Patriots and the Colts, maybe, have any confidence at all in anything.
I would say, unfortunately, the Patriots are probably the most confident fan base right now. That's so impressive.
I just don't know how anybody walks outside feeling confident at all about anything because every team
That's
is
hard,
just,
baby. That's hard.
It's every
That's
team is
the
losing to
NFL.
every team, and it's not like you can go, well, they beat this team and this team beat that team, so they should beat them. No, they'll turn around and lose to them. So it's like, yeah, it's more than I can ever remember. The league is wide open for anybody, which is why those Colts and the Seahawks trades made a lot of sense to me last week too. But I'm not trying to reopen that. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add with the Bills, or you want to keep it pushing?
Yes, I do. Well, I got the schedule pulled up right here. Now, at the time, and I think Spence had he was up in arms about it. The first loss was against the Patriots, and at that time, I think most of the world were not believers, in the Patriots.
Correct.
And was that a Thursday night or was that a Monday night game?
It was.
I'm pretty sure it's a primetime game. Yeah, and that's probably
No, it
a
was
lot
Sunday
of.
night. It was Sunday night.
Sunday night. Okay, so
Sunday
yeah,
night.
well, I
Yep.
know it's a primetime game, but that's probably the world's first like real introduction to the Patriots.
Hmm.
Saw that team. So I would say at that time that we were pretty surprised at that loss. Then you follow up with the Falcons, and at that time, we were above 500, but at the same time, we shouldn't be losing to that team. And then you played the Dolphins. I get it; it's a divisional game. The Dolphins have definitely given the Bills a couple of rough games in there. I think the biggest issue I have with the Bills is I feel like sometimes they overlook it. You just came off, a huge win against the Chiefs, and we know this team's history. They probably thought, we just beat the Chiefs, we're good, we should be able to easy this team. But this team has a very, very, I don't know what it is with them, with like, looking ahead of the schedule. You saw it, with the Saints. We're all like, what do they got going on? They should be
Yes.
killing this team right now. They have a very hard time of just like, getting up for the moment to like, play their fullest potential. And you can't do that. That is going to bite you. This is why I praised the Lions last year for just so I'm gonna put up 100. I'm not leaving nothing up to chance. Whoever I play, full domination from start to finish. The Bills do not do that. I know they're not the most talented team that they have, but in the day, you got Josh Allen. You got the MVP. You're going to expect to pretty much be the favorite in every game you play, maybe except for the Chiefs, a couple other teams in there. But you definitely should be handling the Dolphins. They took their Papa Shop. They ain't got no video games in the locker room. They ain't got nothing out there right now. So the Dolphins, they got nothing to lose. They put in the house money. They leave it all out on the field there.
To your point, the only two teams this season, and maybe you add the Patriots into this, but the only two teams that are consistently punishing teams that happen to have to be lined up with them on the schedule is the Seahawks and the Colts. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Kyle, did you have anything on this, or we want to move over to MVP talk?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, let's talk about the MVP, where who I would have thought the two teams that I think for most of the season so far, I've been big Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. Now Baker, I mean, it looked bad today, but I mean Baker's down a lot of pieces, and I guess we're gonna see what that record looks like in order to kind of see if he's eligible in quotations for MVP. Josh Allen, dog, I think it's over. Like you've played yourself out of that. You can't take these kinds of losses and think that you're gonna win MVP. I think that you can kiss that goodbye for this season, unless you have a holistic campaign to finish the season out. Um, keep it a buck with you. I just want to read you two stats of two players that are not quarterbacks that I think have some serious consideration for being the MVPs. Not that I would say that they would officially get it, but number one is Jonathan Taylor. This is an Adam Schefter tweet with three rushing. Bless you.
That's you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, with three rushing touchdowns in weeks 3, 5, and 7, and today in week 10, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor is now the only player in NFL history to record 4 games with at least 3 rushing touchdowns through the first 10 weeks of the season. One of one. The other one, Jaxson Smith-Njigba joined Antonio Brown from 2014 and Michael Irvin from 1995 as the only players in NFL history with at least 75 receiving yards in each of their first 9 games of a season. So I think that we might be looking at the
Whew.
potential of a non-quarterback winning this. Only quarterback I would think would have a shot at winning this would be either Drake May or potentially Baker Mayfield. Those are my 4 to keep an eye on right now. Kyle?
Outside of that, the only thing I can say is you're disrespecting a former Detroit quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
Oh, yeah.
Other than
Okay.
that, I think you were spot on. He's the only other guy I could think would squeeze into this, other than Jackson Dart. All right, I wanted to let that sit there.
The people's MVP.
The only thing
Yeah,
with
he'd be the only.
the only
But
thing
yeah,
that I would say
nah,
about
Matthew Stafford is a dog.
the only thing I'd say about Stafford would be this: he's got Kyron, he's got Puka, and he's got Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is number 2 on his team. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got some weapons to work with over there.
No,
Um,
it's very clearly JT. Like, and that's just the example. Like, you just kind of solidified that with me. Like, the fact that the best quarterbacks that we can combine, like, I mean, Drake May, yeah, I guess he's not working with a ton, but he's got a great O line. He's got a lot of protection now. Um, so there's arguments for everybody. And Drake May has had a couple bad games. They've lost. JT has never been the cause for a Colts loss this entire season, you know? So to me, the guy putting up 15 rushing touchdowns, couple of passing or receiving touchdowns. If he stays healthy, it's nobody but JT this year.
Toph?
Yeah, my bad. I got the stats pulled up right here. Currently right now, JT. Well, first of all, the Colts, one of the best records in the league, and historically, this is different than the Heisman Trophy winner. I don't think I've ever seen an MVP in the NFL that's probably not one of the top, you could say, three best records in the league. So for one, you got one of the best teams in the league. Doesn't matter if you're a quarterback, running back, receiver, whatever. You're not going to give it to somebody that's, Ross would have gave it to Joe Burrow last year for what he did stat wise. He was cooking. He got to be winning. Like I said, this year, probably every week we've had something different. It was Baker. He was carrying it. Josh Allen had a point in there. Like every week, someone has a game, they fall off, etc. But JT from Lily, because I remember we did our running back rankings. I was talking ill about that man a little bit. I'll own up to that take in there. I know I say I'm never wrong. Like I said, if I'm wrong, hey, I got no point in saying, hey, I said that man was inconsistent this year. Nothing but consistent, other than the last game in there. But like when I watch him, this man's getting 3 touchdowns, a game with ease. And the fact that he has 15 right now, that my all-time favorite running back, this has been a record for a very long time. 31 touchdowns in 1 year by running back is an insane number to get. And he is on pace to either match or possibly surpass that. If he breaks that record, I would suggest, they probably have the same record, but if he gets 31 touchdowns, he has to get the MVP no matter what. The quarterbacks are playing good. Jake Smith, he is actually balling. But JT, every week, you could definitely say, I know Daniel Jones is cooking, but that team and that offense for sure is definitely ran through him 100%. And you see, when he wasn't on track, last game, it didn't look like the same Colts in there. So like I said, this guy has to put on 3 capes on. You get this man kryptonite, he still might, find a way, but they can't be Superman. But JT by far is my MVP. Matt Stafford, he's cooking. Sam Darnold, Jaxson Smith, Baker. I hate it for him because he's really out there, putting no receivers. I don't think anybody can even name his 3 top receivers right now without naming, the Mike Evans of the world. And he's still doing the best he can. Gave Drake May a run for his money. But like I said, there comes a point in time you just don't got enough horses to get it done there. But yeah, JT, man, salute. I apologize for what I said about you being inconsistent. I'm going to hold that L.
Just to stat clarify, from the math I just did right this second, JT is actually at 17 touchdowns.
Oh, ESPN might be a little wrong on you. I thought they might have updated it for today. So my bad. JT got 17.
Other thing too is that knowing the way the NFL works, while we all think that JT should be, I think that most likely what happens is Drake May or maybe Stafford wins MVP, JT wins Offensive Player of the Year. But I sure as hell think that he should be the MVP. You guys had some stuff you wanted to talk about with college ball?
Yes, we did. It was overall, good slate of college football across, the board. But there was one game in particular, that really, stole the show. As a team we've talked about, or at least I've talked about ad nauseum here, it's good old Penn State, man. Those Nittany Lions, they were in a real deal barn burner, today. Down there in Penn State, I think it was a whiteout. They were in there rocking. Good old Indiana came into town. Indiana is ranked number 2 in the nation. And they've been putting straight belt to ass to everybody. I'm talking about 50 points left and right with ease. They really look like, the team that's going to give, bless you.
Thank you.
Ohio State are running for their money. You know, it's most likely going to come down to them for that Big Ten championship game. I know Michigan might have something to say about that. Bless you again. Um, but it was close. They were 40 seconds away from being upset to Penn State. No James Franklin, no Drew Aller. Basically no expectations in there. Like I said, when you're down at the bottom, you ain't got nothing to lose. You lay it all out in the field, and as much as I dog Penn State, even I felt bad for them because they played one hell of a game. I didn't see that coming. But Mr. Fernando Mendoza, he did not have the best game. And he looked really bad out there. He looked confused. Penn State was really getting after it. But that last drive he put together, 2 minutes left, had to do it. We talk about, that game-winning drive, 4th down, on the goal line. This is it. You got no second chance. You miss this, it's over. They're storming the field. They gonna party for the rest of the year in Penn State. And that throw he made to that wide receiver in the back of the end zone, he threw it at the most perfect spot, high up to the left. The only person that could have got it was him. And I don't know how that DB did not push him out of bounds. But for him to get that last hold down, I thought it was out. One of the greatest catches I've ever seen, in my life. Fernando Mendoza, that moment you had right there, where as bad as the game you have, you say a guy, well, you got to make the play. Doesn't matter what you did the whole game. If you come up to make that play, yeah, like I said, you can house that post, and that was one hell of a game that he played for Mr. Fernando Mendoza. I got Tim hat to you.
In the hat, no doubt, with a performance like that. Even as bad as of a game as he had, you got Sayan out there. Obviously, you got Jeremiah Smith out there, who maybe, in my opinion, maybe should take this. I mean, he's such a good freaking player. But Mendoza, I mean, if you're gonna keep your chances alive, that's how you do it. That's like
Yes.
you save a game by putting a team up there on your, like, you show any scout out there that you could have had 3 interceptions, but coach, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna fucking play for you. Like, that is exactly what Mendoza showed Signetti, and I mean, that's exactly what Signetti brought him in for. Like, I mean, man, what a pairing those two are. Honestly, he's got my vote if he carries this shit up, because he is so fun to watch. I love watching Mendoza. Like, he scrambles a little bit, he gets a little in his head, but then all of a sudden he like hits that like Tiger Woods lock in. I'm gonna knock in 5 birdies in a row. Like, I don't know. He has that trait about him. Like, yeah, I love that kid.
Yeah, I definitely think this is definitely one of the probably the closest Heisman race I've seen in my entire life. And I've watched college football for a very long time. It's usually you could say this guy for sure. At one point in time, he's got on like we're basically going week by week. You get someone new. Julian Saying, Jeremiah Smith, Fernando Mendoza in there, Ty Simpson at Alabama. It's really been a new person every single week. Even Michigan's running back, Justice Haynes, he's had his time in the sun. Yeah. Haynes King from Georgia Tech, the games he's put down, really putting his body on the line out there. I got to tip my hat to this. Like I said, I don't know who's gonna win it. Marcel Reed and A&M, Diego Pavia for Vanderbilt. Like I said, there's a lot of guys that are playing some ball right now, and they're probably gonna maybe 5 guys could go to New York. Like I said, it's gonna come down to we always call it the Heisman moment. Everybody has it. Johnny Manziel going into Tuscaloosa and upsetting Alabama. His moment. You gotta have that certain moment, that play, that kind of separate between everybody else in there. For Mendoza, he's had his moment. As long as they do what they got to do, when the rest of the gang's out, he's got his chance. What's up, Spence?
I just want to, excuse me. You guys are bigger college football fans than I am. I'm just curious your take on this. Can you
Hmm.
have a Heisman moment beating a team that you should have never been this close with?
Yeah, you definitely can. Um,
Like your defining moment, basically.
Well, he Toph just talked about like you've got that Heisman moment, like going into the certain situation, upsetting somebody, right? You almost got upset
Absolutely.
by a team with no coach and no quarterback. Can you
The
have a Heisman
reason,
moment
honestly,
winning that?
the reason Travis Hunter won it last year is he probably won 3 or 4 games for his team last year. Like he was the reason his team was in bowl games last year was because they would be down by 2 scores, and in the last like 12 minutes of regulation, he would get 3 touchdowns after having 2 catches for 26 yards. Like it was just some like crazy, like it was some like complete like video game overtaking shit. Like that's what will set you apart. And honestly, I don't think anybody's necessarily done that this year to that level. I mean, Travis
yeah.
Hunter is a generational motherfucking talent,
I
so
mean, he also did something
you're
we'll
not gonna
probably
get that.
never see again.
Yeah,
In
Probably,
I mean,
history,
yeah.
really playing full time, not
nine
package
interceptions
here and
and
there.
yeah,
Literally, he should have probably returned punts as well too. I would have had him do it, but he's already playing a lot of snaps in there. But to kind of answer your question really quick, um, like I said, at the end of the day, of course, we've had people like Derrick Henry who just runs for 200 yards every single game. Cam Newton's, his comeback against Alabama, being down 21, scoring 20 unanswered. Yes, it's Alabama, but that game he put down, people kind of say, I know you say Joe Burrow, but Cam Newton, that 1 year Auburn, I mean, I love me some Cam Newton, but yeah, he put on a fucking show that year. Doesn't matter who it is, of course, if you're beating, Western, sorry, Western, but that's okay, like not as much weight because you expect to beat that team. But when you're in that moment, you gotta have it. I mean, it's still Penn State in the day. It's not a Joe Schmo program. Yes, they are down, but it's still D1. Penn State still has a lot of talent in there. And yes, you were favored by. I don't know how much points they were favored by, but I know it was more than what they won by. But just the magnitude in the moment, the play he had, the execution he had on that last drive. It was shaky, but he still got it done at the end of the day. It's the impact, the moment, because people are going to be talking about this probably for the rest of the year. Every player has to have that game where, like, the stakes were at its highest, you know, highlights it all in there. Like I said, yes, it's going to, maybe not as impactful as you should have won that team, but you still can't take the moment from that guy. He did what he had to do at the end of the day to get it done.
All right, so yeah, as promised, gonna have a little bit of fun. Usually we do questions of the week on Wednesday, but Kyle's got one for us tonight, and then I've got one question after Kyle, and then we'll wrap up. What you got for us?
all right, so settle in, boys. Tonight we got a LeBron question.
Ooh,
Not really.
okay.
It just has his name in it. LeBron has already played on a team with one son, and he might play with Bryce as well. Who knows? So, what's something you'd love to do with a family member, even if people said it was unrealistic or a bad idea? What do you see yourselves doing? Is it a sport? Is it a game? Is it a game show? What are you and your family member doing, and what are you competing in? And honestly, I know both of y'all. What are y'all dominating in?
Hmm.
Ooh,
I really got to think about this question.
It's a big one.
yeah,
I got mine.
man.
I got mine right now. If
Can
you
you
guys
go?
want me to,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll go
Yeah,
first.
this might take me a little
So
while.
my first initial instinct, like it's tough to pick between, but I think I'm sorry, Kevin, my brother, who probably he might watch this. Uh, I think I'm gonna have to go with my dad on Amazing Race. I feel like me and my dad on the Amazing Race, we would kick ass. I don't even know if that shit still airs, but when that shit was still cooking and they were going all around the world doing all these random challenges, like it just brought in like the perfect amount of like brain and like athleticism that my dad and I both have. I feel like we would do well. So me and my dad would win $1 million on the Amazing Race.
I have heard of that before. I have no idea what the Amazing Race is.
Really?
I kind of
It's
like
ba-
vaguely know what it is.
it's basically like a scavenger hunt around the world with like different challenges. Like they give you like you have to go like see the locals and like perform like a juggling act. And once you perform the juggling act, you have to go answer 3 questions, and then it's just like it's a whole scavenger hunt around the world.
Okay. Um, it's with your family.
Yeah, with
I,
one family member.
Oh, only one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
You
feel like
pick a family
Oh,
member,
well,
and
that
you
that
two are
takes out my
competing
thing
in
then.
like in something
you were gonna
together.
say
Like,
Family Feud.
That
yeah, you
was.
could. I mean, you could do that. Hey, I the rules aren't fucking concrete.
Switching it up already.
Who are you taking on your Family Feud? You get what? Four family members.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is a great pivot. I love this.
Okay. Tofu, you're taking with you.
I gotta bring my two oldest brothers, or oldest one and the one below me. So that's three. I gotta bring Grams. Shout out Jima. And from my last one, I gotta go with my cousin Ben, man. Just like our family dynamic. Like I said, like we're all like pretty vastly different. But like even like some of like our younger days we've seen, my brothers, cousins, like family friends. We thought about making like a YouTube channel, kind of like an RDC thing. Before RDC was, big, we can do like those same things. Cinnamon challenge, just like funny things in there. But I'm trying to think like, Amazing Grace, no, we're cooked on that. That's like the only thing I could think of, just like our personalities, how funny we are. I feel like Family Feud would be a funny thing to get up there with Steve Harvey.
Hmm.
May have a bad guest or two in there, look like an idiot on live TV. I'd be like, well, I gotta hold that L right there. But I feel like Family Feud would be pretty fun for my family dynamic.
I feel like my family, we all have such different interests.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be hard to pick like I don't know. I think it'd be fun to do. I would say between two. The first thing that came to mind would be like a skeet shooting competition, like tag team my dad and me. I think we could
Okay.
probably go out there and knock some clay pigeons down. I think that would be smooth. But I think more exciting than that, even though it's the I would say one of the not super exciting game shows. I think my mom and I would kill on Wheel of Fortune. I think we'd go home with the car, the
Mm.
vacation, the big jackpot money. We taking it all home. So yeah, Ma Dukes, you and I, Wheel of Fortune. Let's make it happen.
Yo, hey, that just brought. Hey, you bringing up your mama? That just hey, deal or no deal with my mom on the jury. Like, take me back to Howie Mandel hosting that shit. Oh
Ooh,
my god! Like,
I love that one.
oh, like I would love to be on there and just see my mom over there on the jury or whatever they had, like where they had your family members chilling, and my mom would be like, "Take the fucking deal. You need a free wedding. You need it." And I'd be like, "No fucking deal." I'd be like, "Okay, I love you, mama."
Not like an official game show, but it's funny how you brought that up and reminded me. Spencer was just good and well. Um, I had a game night at the crib, and I
Yeah.
made a game with like you had to guess like music. So I would just play like the instrumental, like of a song, and I had like I made this all myself. It actually took me a long time to make it. But like for example, we had it was minorities with a question mark. And usually think of minorities, it's usually like black people. This is all like a white artist's song. Should have like minorities for like 500 up to 100, and it ended up being like guys versus girls. And my fellas, they didn't do too hot.
We got cooked.
But it was a funny game show because they when they did the down bad category, they was really down bad for that one. That just reminded me when we played that game.
Man, what I would do for another PF game night. Those were fun. Uh,
Legendary man, them boys, good times.
okay, so last question of the night before we get up out of here. Toph has informed me pre-show that the lottery is up to what did you say? 400 million?
900 million at
Nine
this
hundred
point. I
million.
think they do drawings on Monday. So if nobody wins, aka well, I guess today it's 2 o'clock. Um, I don't know if it'd go up to a billion, but we are getting to that billion mark here, everybody, which is insane to think of in just a lottery ticket.
So I want to know, and we'll start with you, Toph, and then go to Kyle. You win $900 million. What's life look like for you?
Um, First and foremost, um, first thing I would do, you gotta take care of the family. Whether if you got, car payments, the mortgage, whatever it is, we're getting that out outright, So scratch that out the door in there. For me, I'm a pretty, driven person. I've always wanted to start like, my own businesses, a bunch of things in there. I always kind of wanted, like we played the flag football, like kind of like a facility like that, like a sports facility. I've always wanted to own like my own, like, indoor training facility. That's number one. Um, my own gaming organization as well too. Like a Phase Clan, 100 Thieves, something like that. I've always been, a gamer from, we young lads. I can pick up a controller, to this day. So definitely, having my own organization, social media presence, all that stuff in there. I wouldn't go like too crazy, like, 3 mansions. I'm a pretty like, even chill guy. Just want like a solid house, Now cars, I'd probably have a couple crazy cars. I'm a car person, but nothing too crazy. Not buying an island, nothing like that. But just like living a carefree life. Make sure the family's good. Do what I want to do each and every day. Really.
Okay.
That's respect.
Kyle?
I'm spending all 900 million on bot viewers for late entry so that we can go dummy viral.
He
and
put all
keep this shit
900
going.
on the Lions money line.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
I might as well. Double it down.
Lose it all.
If they were playing the Commanders this week, I might as well have. Nah.
Oh.
Yeah, retire my parents, get them the F out of there. I don't know. I'm living on half an acre, so I'd probably just add on to the current house that I'm living in. Like I would just like soup this bitch up, maybe even tear this whole thing down, start from scratch. If I won 900 mil, like build myself something nice, like a nice like 3,500, 4,000 square foot house. Nothing crazy. But yeah, I mean, it would be so hard for me not to just pool it into the next idea. It would be hard not to pull it into late entry, not to, pull it into another channel idea. Kind of similar to Toph's, right? Like run a channel, run an org. Like if you got that much money, why not like recruit people on Twitch, like make an organization. I don't know. Yeah, turn it into something fun, something I want to do. When you got that much money, why not? So, yeah.
True.
I think that's what we're trying to do here. We're just doing it with no money.
All right, so for me, white people get money, don't spend it. Or maybe they get money, buy a business. I'd rather buy 80 gold chains and go ignorant. It's my
Well, it's
no,
cooking.
for real though.
As soon as we make money, Spencer just pulls up and he's got like 8 chains. He's just gonna be like, "Welcome back to." Oh God!
Fucking late entry.
He's like, his shoulder's gonna give out. He's gonna be like, welcome back to late entry. Oh shit!
So first order of business before any money gets spent on anything else. You know what the dream is. What the dream has been. The 3 of us getting our Canada Goose coats. That's number 1.
Zipping that shit up.
We getting our Canada Goose coats. Hey, look, if we ever hit the lotto big, you won't know, but there will be signs. There will be signs. It'd be a Canada Goose coat. This is late entry and gold across that bitch.
Yeah.
Right. So look, I'm
have
breaking
the emblem
off.
just like embroidered across.
my mom, my dad, my sister, Lexi, all of them get 100 mil. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, 100 mil because I got 900. So
Yep,
that's
you good,
four.
Sip.
That's yeah, okay. So we
400
still
left.
balling after that. Still balling. Um, I'm buying a yacht. I'm buying a house. I'm buying a house out somewhere on a lake. I'm buying an apartment building in Chicago, also by
Okay.
the lake. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be up in the
Get that
penthouse.
passive revenue.
Everybody underneath me, they getting rented out. Perfect. All right. After that, you're gonna see me at all the major sports shows. You know what I mean? Anybody playing I want to see, pull up. I'll be there. After that, let's get a little bit more serious with it. I've always thought since I was younger that I wanted to do something to help rehabilitate homeless people, and so um, I would go about it in one of two ways. Number one, I think, and I don't know how I had this idea when I was a kid. I don't know how realistic it really is, but like you just out somewhere, see a homeless person ask for money. We're gonna pick them up, put them in the car, not kidnapping them. We're gonna offer them to come with
Mm-hmm.
us. You're gonna be my personal assistant. We're gonna get you bathed, cleaned up, all put together. Put some money in your pocket. You're gonna be doing easy tasks. I'm not trying to have no slave or nothing like that, but you know what I mean. We're gonna be paying you do these little tasks. Once you got your shit together, all right, you're ready to re-enter the world. You got some money in your pocket. Cool. If you need anything, hit me up. On to the next person. That's option number one. Option number two would be starting a business that exclusively hires homeless people because that's tough for them to get a job, stuff like that. So we get some housing together for you. We get a business coming in. You clock in for your shift. You make your money. Get to go back home. We paying for your rent, your food, stuff like that, taking care of you. Just kind of rotate that in. You know what I mean? Just reintegrating that back into society because that can be difficult. Once you fall behind, dog, it's like, I mean, if you don't have a phone, how are you gonna get the information from a job interview? How are you gonna apply to a job? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff like that I think, especially being in Chicago where there's so much of it, that would be something I would really want to make my mission to tackle with that much money. But aside from that, I'll be fucking off. Uh, I would say that we're gonna have the foundation for the homeless people, and late entry. We're gonna have all the funds to make this shit popping for real, and that would be my full time job is just doing late entry.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
That's
me.
dope,
We'd be
man.
posting 7 episodes a week.
Yeah. We're gonna be big.
Hell
I
yeah.
tell you what, y'all gonna know when that man make it when you see that camera switch up.
I hear that. I think I'd buy a new camera immediately. If I won $100, I'd buy a new camera.
You see that new camera, you know some motion didn't have.
When you see me in Miami on a yacht in a Canada Goose in 90-degree weather, that's how you know. That's how you know.
He says some new graphics, some transitions, new theme music.
Yep.
He said they're gonna be some signs.
Yeah, you gonna hear DJ Mustard on the intro music to later. I think that's all we got. Anybody else got anything else?
No, I'm cooling.
You guys
All
are
right.
my favorite podcast mates.
I love you too, boy.
Anytime. Yeah.
If you're not following, actually, Toph, you do this better than anybody else. Hit him with the read.
Hey, as always, if you rocking with us, me and my two compadres, you can find us on all social medias, IG, TikTok. Make sure you rock with us for real. Hit that like, leave some comments, get some healthy debates in there. We a community here, man. You ain't nothing wrong with a good little debate in there. As always, tell your mama, tell your daddy, your grandma, auntie, uncle, your teacher, all your friends, man. Run that up, man. We greatly appreciate that, as always.
All right. Catch us back here on YouTube or Twitch. Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central for our live show. We are out. Peace.